Hey guys, welcome. Right now is almost the last hour of Tuesday, December 16th, 2025. And we just got a new Star Citizen Alpha 4.5 PTU build. And this is the live release candidate number 2. In this patch, we've got some very interesting updates. I don't know if I can test all of them in this video or not, but I will do my best. First of all, a bug fix. Levski ASOP terminal. The ASOP terminal kiosk screen has excessive amounts of grim around the edges. And now, take a look at the ASOP terminal in Levski. Right now, I think they cleaned the edges a little bit, but still left a little bit for the immersion. However, on the right-hand side, it's still a lot of black stuff. And the bar to drag the list is hidden. So it's still quite difficult to find it and drag the list. However, this is not the biggest problem. The biggest problem I found in the PTU is on the ASOP terminal, sometimes when you call one ship, it gives you another ship. I don't know if you guys experience this or not. Not all the time, but sometimes when I want to call, for example, the Asgard, I click it. Okay, I claim the Asgard, but sometimes, like this one, I was trying to call the Hornet Mark 1, but it's giving me the Anvil Centurion. I think that was a very old bug. A long time ago, we experienced this bug. Right now, it is back. It's quite annoying sometimes. Now, in this patch, we have 4 very important updates. So this is number 1 regarding engineering balance update. A new concept is introduced, which is called ship overkill. Let's read it carefully and try to understand it. So ship overkill. Once all ship parts reach 0 health, we activate another health pool buffer. This amount is hidden. Once the buffer reaches 0 health, it will trigger an unavoidable explosion of the ship. If the player manages to repair the hull to counter it, the buffer is ignored. If the hull reaches 0 health again, the buffer starts again. Oh my goodness, what is going on? This is getting more and more complex now. Of course, we're going to test it right now, but just by reading these things, I feel like the engineering gameplay is getting out of hand to a certain extent. I think CIG introduced this concept is to counteract the hard death of ships. Because if you've watched my testing videos recently, you've noticed that to hard death a ship is really difficult, even for a light fighter, which is kind of ridiculous. So maybe this is a concept they introduced to counteract it. Once all ship parts reaches 0 health, and there will be another health pool buffer, this amount is hidden. So we have the health pool for the armor, and then for the hull, and now is the invisible buffer for, what do you call it? Ship overkill buffer? So we have 3 things for the ship hulls and armors. Now, first question is how much health is this buffer? Now, second question is this explosion instant? As soon as the buffer reaches 0 health, the ship just, boom, explode. Or it will go to the core critical state and gives you a timer. And during that timer, you can repair the hull of the ship to counter it. Once you repair the hull, and then the buffer is ignored. But how much percentage do we need to repair the hull in order to counter this buffer? Not only that, if the hull reaches 0 health again, and the buffer starts again. So, oh my goodness, this is so complex. Let's just go test it. First ship is the Gladius damage test. So I'm gonna be using a wolf with laser repeaters to shoot at this Gladius. And then we're gonna monitor the component health, especially the power plant here on the second screen. Fire! Okay, shields down, taking hull damage. Oh, shield is down. Power plant is destroyed. Still getting hit. Oh! That's it! I just got destroyed. So that feels better. At least better than the forever shooting but cannot destroy a ship. The power plant was so fragile in the light fighter. So the power plant was destroyed really quickly after the shield is down. And then less than about 20 seconds after keep shooting at the Gladius, it's exploded. Next ship, we're gonna try the Hornet Mark 1. I'm giving full shield to the ship. Okay, target and fire.
Shields hit.
Shield is down.
Shields offline.
Oh, power plant got destroyed really quickly. After the power plant is down, I don't have the critical state yet. My ship hull is completely red. So I think at this point, both my armor and my hull is at 0%, I think. Let's confirm it. I'm gonna get out of the ship. The only way to know is with a repairing tool to find out the hull value right now. So my vehicle hull, you can see part integrity 0%. So I need to do some salvage and getting some RMC. And now I can repair the ship hull. So right click. And now I am repairing my hull integrity. 1%, 2%, 4%. So I'm gonna shoot at the ship again. Fire. And now you can see after a few bullets, my hull integrity down to 0% again. So once the hull is down to 0%, the final buffer will be triggered according to the patch note. So once all ship parts reach 0 health, I think what it means here is both the armor and the hull reaches 0 health because I have not been shooting at the wings of the ship. Only the armor and the hull. When their health goes to 0, then another health pool buffer will be triggered. So once this buffer reaches 0 health, I think the explosion will happen right away. It's like a hard death of the ship. If you do not repair the hull of the ship, well, keep getting hit. And then you're depleting the health of that overkill buffer. So once that overkill buffer reaches 0, and this Hornet will explode. So I'm gonna keep shooting it. Oh wow, finally! That did take a while. But yeah, finally, that buffer depleted and the ship just exploded. Now the question is, how much amount is the health pool for that buffer? We need to know. The next ship we're gonna test on the Guardian. Because the Guardian has an interior and it has an engineering terminal, so we can monitor the numbers. Okay, so let's watch this terminal. So armor and hull right now is at 100%. I'm gonna shoot at the ship now. Getting hit. The shield is taking down. And shield is down. Now my armor is taking a lot of damage. Armor is depleted. And now the hull is depleted. Now I've got a power plant failure. The ship right now is disabled because I'm having 0% hull. So the power plant health is 0%. But that's not I am worrying about. Right now, I want to find a place inside the ship that I can do some hull repair. So this is a door. It's a door repair. Sometimes inside the ship, you can find the places you can repair the hull. So you don't have to go outside the ship. But it doesn't look like this ship has that area. Yep, I couldn't find any area inside the ship that I can do hull repair. So in order to repair the hull of the ship, I need to go outside the ship. And now you can see the hull of the ship is 0% part integrity. So I'm gonna repair the hull. In the meantime, I'm gonna keep shooting at the ship while I keep repair the hull integrity. So I want to see when the ship will explode. As long as I can repair the hull with 0.001% of the health, it will not trigger that buffer, right? And every time I repair the hull, it will reset that buffer. So we'll see if that is true. I'm gonna take a few minutes to just do this. Repair again and shoot again. Repair again, shoot again. Repair again, shoot again. So I'm gonna do this for a couple minutes. Let's see if the ship will explode or not. Oh! That's not true. The ship just exploded. So that buffer cannot be reset. The patch note said if the player manages to repair the hull to counter it, the buffer is ignored. If the hull reaches 0 health again, the buffer starts again. So that buffer is a fixed amount. It does not reset every time you repair the hull. So eventually, that buffer will run out and the ship will explode. So for each ship, we now have the armor health, the hull health, and the overkill buffer health. 3 health together to make a ship. If all of these health goes to 0, the ship will go boom. And that's so far what I figured out by testing this. And to be honest, when I first read it, I feel like it's getting too complex, but I think maybe this overkill buffer is a good addition. Because right now, we can make the ship go boom. Instead of the previously, we keep shooting at the ship, especially the light fighters. We keep shooting at it, shooting at it, shooting at it. It will not go explode. And that will depend on the amount of health of all 3 things. Armor, hull, and overkill buffer. So we really need to know the amount for the overkill buffer. The second important update in this patch is regarding shields. We are having a shield buff, sort of. So patch note says this: multi-shield implementation. When a ship now has more than 2 shields, all shields will contribute to overall shield health, even the ones not given power by the generator. Regen, however, will be affected as only 2 shields at a time have power and can regenerate health. This will affect overall regen speed as the 2 shields with the lowest power requirement will regen first and then subsequent shields after. So not long ago I made a video regarding the redundant shield system. Looks like that video is already outdated. They reverted that redundant shield system but made it better. So in the redundant shield system, if your ship has more than 2 shields, only 2 shields will work at the same time, and the health for your shield strength is only the shield strength for the 2 shields. However, with this update, even with 2 shields at work, the 2 shields will give the full shield strength for all your shield. For example, this Redeemer, which has 6 size 2 shields. Now let's take a look. So Redeemer, we have 6 size 2 shields. As you can see, only 2 shields are working at the same time. But previously, these 2 shields only give the shield HP with these 2 shields. But right now, these 2 shields will give the shield strength for all 6 shields, which is basically 9,240 times 6 equals to 55,440 shield strength. Now, the advantage of this is on this Redeemer, if I go to SCM mode, when I have only 2 shields at work, it will consume only the power pips for 2 shields. However, these 2 shields will give the shield strength for 6 shields. So that's why I'm saying that this is sort of a shield buff. However, according to the patch note, the regen speed of the shield will be affected as only 2 shields at a time have power. But that shield regen speed will also depend on the type of shields you're using. So now let's do a little test. I am going to give full power to my shield. And since the Redeemer has only size 2 shields, so it's a bubble shield. Once a bullet hits one face of the shield, all faces will take damage. So I'm just gonna shoot in the front of the ship. Fire. 2 size 4 from the wolf. As you can see, oh, my shield is taking down. And shield is down. And now the shield will regen. And the regen speed is quite slow. Even with full power to the shield. I think this is a little disadvantage because you have only 2 shields and you can only give so much power to the shield. So the regen speed will be slowed compared with when you give full power to 6 shields. So that's a little disadvantage with this system. But you do have the shield strength for 6 size 2 shields. Not only the Redeemer has 6 size 2 shields, the Retaliator also has 6 size 2 shields. And now the total shield strength for the Retaliator is also tripled than before. Also including the Asgard, which has 4 size 2 shields. Also including the Super Hornet Mark II, which has 3 size 1 shields. Previously, it only has the shield strength of 2 size 1, but with this system, the Super Hornet Mark II has 1 extra shield strength, including the A2 Hercules, which has 3 size 3 shields, and each of these size 3 shields has 66,000 hit points. So the A2 just got an extra 66,000 shield HP buff. The third update for this patch is regarding the ore refining economic balance. Refining of ores has undergone changes to smaller volume of yield output from around 85% to 45%, while significantly increasing the refined sale price to compensate. So basically what they did is to reduce the yield when you refine the ores, almost reduced it by half, while significantly increased the sales price for the refined ores. And as a result, you can now transport more value of refined ore with smaller SU space with this latest update. Okay, to test this, first we need to do some mining. Let's get some ores first. And found a rock that we can crack. Burrow, aluminum, and inert materials. Okay, and it's really easy to crack. Oh, too much power. Oh no. Too much power. Yeah, that's it. We can crack this one. Boom. Let's extract these ores. All done. That's it. Alright, this is the refinery at Lavsky. Let's go refine these ores. Select the prospector, select an option, get a quote. So the aluminum, I have 927. My yield is 451. And the yield is about 48%, 49%. And for the burrow, I have 1,248 units, but the yield is only 607. So that yield is also 48.6%. So 48, 49%. However, this is at Lavsky. So for a lot of the ores at Lavsky, you have increased yield according to this chart here. You can see the iron, you have 8% more yield. Construction material, 9% more yield. The gold, 5% more yield. Ladinium, 4% more. And aluminum, 8% more. Also burrow, 8% more. So that is why the yield here is about 48, 49%. But in other stations, without these additional added yield, you probably will have about 45% according to the patch note. The last update for this patch is regarding commodity trading. The base prices of nearly all commodities have been significantly increased across the board. This affects all major brackets of sandbox commodities. Price differences within brackets have been pressed closer together in order for dynamic pricing to better influence which goods are optimal. Alright, let's go inside the station and take a look. And at the commodity shop, let's check out the price. Agrisim selling price per SU is 3.4K. Burrow is 3.6K. The construction materials, over 8K. Corundum 1.3K, iron 1.3K, 1.4K. Agriculture supplies 1.6K. Reverend tree pollen 1.5K. Aluminum 1.4. Ammonia 1.1. Baxolite 17.4. Bioplastic 8.5. Borax 5.7. Carbon's cheap 375. But carbon silk 20.1K per SEU. Chlorine 1.6K. Cobalt 23.8K per SEU. Copper 1.4. Diamond 7.8. Distilled spirits almost 2K per SEU. Gold 6.8K. Hydrogen 1.1K. Laranite 4.3K. Medical supplies 5.6K. Nitrogen 3.1K. Pressured ice 2.1. Processed food 1.5. Quantanium 80.9K. Quartz 1.5. RMC 5.5. The RMC is cheaper than before. Scrap 4.1K. And Stellaron, wow, 105.5K per SEU. Stems 5.3K per SEU. And Terranite 22.4K. Severlim, I think this is a new ore, 76K per SEU. And the Ladinium 20.8K per SEU. And Torite 1.9K per SEU. So yep, the commodity price across board, the price has been significantly increased. So definitely when the patch goes to live, I'm going to be doing some commodity trading. Let's see if trading is going to become more profitable or not. Alright guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys in the next one.